What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah!
What's up, True Heel Heat?
True Heel Heat.
What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands is on me.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our NJPW Sakura Genesis 2025 review. Breaking down yesterday's show from Ryogoku Sumo Hall, the latest major event from New Japan Pro Wrestling, where the revolution continued to the joy of one of our panel here today. So, of course, we are joined here by my esteemed team, the never openweight 6-man tag team champions of New Japan Pro Wrestling coverage. First up, we got the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. It's your boy, J News.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone out there in the land. It is what they used to say was a good day, but today is a day where the Goto revolution continues because damn right, your damn savior can't save a damn thing worth his life. Goto, sir, you are the man. Hold that belt all the way onto Wrestle Kingdom for all I care. That's the way we got to do it. Because goddamn, Shooter ain't winning that belt next time up. So hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep the revolution alive, and let's keep it where it's at. But no, in all honesty, like they did from a business perspective, they did the smart thing. Like houses have been packed. They've been selling out arenas since Goto's been champion. You gotta continue to ride the hot hand. Momentum is a thing, and yeah, that's all that's all it's about. It's ride that hot hand, man. Ride that hot hand.
Glad one of us is happy. But of course, we are joined by the most positive New Japan Pro Wrestling fan in the land. It is her life. It is Sonal's life. How are you doing, Sonal? Good to see you.
I'm feeling good. I feel like, so with you two, they're like opposite ends. So we've got SP3 who's like, yeah, the Rebel needed to do it. J News, who's the opposite, it's like Goto needs to do it. I think that's just me in the middle of it. I would have been happy either way. I'm just like, whatever result would have been fine for me.
That's why we're the perfect balance. We're the perfect balance here on this show, because we're all the different ends of the spectrum here. So that's why I love doing these shows with you guys. It's always a good time. But we appreciate you.
Someone's got to balance the extremes in this trio.
We missed you on the preview. We would have been we missed you on the preview. You would have been able to balance us out then. But yes, we appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping the thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here, and of course sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys. Hear your thoughts on NJPW Sakura Genesis. We'll be talking about the final two matches on Junior Genesis as well, so you're getting a complete Sakura Genesis recap of the big weekend from Ryogoku Sumo Hall in Kurgan Hall. So we appreciate y'all for that. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to our New Japan Pro Wrestling coverage here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that we see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support, even when it comes from my arch nemesis in the chat, Genesis J, the #1 J News fan in the land. He says, thank you, Genesis J, for the super chat donation, despite you being too happy about this. He says, to the real boss dog, J News, we did it.
Where's my machine gun? Where's my machine gun at? SP3? Where's it at? Where is it at? God damn it, man. I tell you. Sometimes it puts everybody in a real, oh, Maggie's in the chat. Is Maggie in the chat? Is Maggie in the chat?
I think that's a different Maggie.
Okay,
that's a different Maggie. That's a different Maggie.
I would say it is a real cool experience to see Goto continue on with what's been going on. There's other parts about the show that I want to harp on that kind of had me like, what the hell is going on? But we shall get there to get there. But I enjoyed the majority of the show on the 5th, and on the 4th, the two major junior matches made up the majority of the match. So, yeah.
Yeah, we won't be discussing the other parts of Junior Genesis. We'll talk about the main two matches, why it was called Junior Genesis. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too upset. I'm more upset that I don't get to do my boss dog celebration, and there is no bullets in my machine gun to go off on this show, because it would have been a great celebratory. Me and Sonal would have been having a celebration here. Now it's just you and Sonal to be happy that
I was celebrating either way, actually, to be fair.
Exactly.
Living the best life.
I appreciate that about all of us. But yes, we're going to talk about Sakura Genesis. First, we're going to talk about the top two matches at Junior Genesis. But before we get into those top two matches, and before we get into Sakura Genesis on the 5th, I'll start with Sonal. Your overall thoughts on Junior Genesis on the 4th from Kurgan Hall.
So I'm biased here because you know that, like, if you follow me, I am the biggest junior fan. Like, for me, the junior division is my favorite part of New Japan. It was Best of Super Junior in 2018, which was like my first ever tournament, and like the reason I stuck with New Japan. So for me, like, I loved the whole show because I got to see people. So, for example, a big thing, Mao was on it, and like, if you'd have told 2019 Sonal, who was obsessed with DDT, that 2025 Mao would be there, I lost my mind. And I know that this might be controversial because obviously, like, the big two matches were like the main ones. But for me, I'd like this to continue being a thing for the sake of, like, I know I've done it on this channel, I've done it on my own channel. Is that I always feel bad that, like, the juniors are never the main event when there is a heavyweight show. And, like, even if it's in Korakuen, because hell, it doesn't have to be big arenas. We know that Korakuen is one of the best crowds. But to have, not on every tour, but like the big ones, to have a show for juniors where the juniors get to do the semi and main event, and that actually for once there is a junior in every single match. Like, I'm not saying we have to overload it because again, I understand it could be a lot and there aren't as many juniors versus heavyweights, but like once a year or something, or twice a year, have those, like, have a certain, like the main show and then the one before, but a junior edition just to showcase it.
Yeah, I like the fact that they put the top two titles in the junior heavyweight division on this show, and Kurgan Hall, yeah, like you said, is one of the best arenas in pro wrestling in general, and especially New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jay News, you messaged me last night as you was watching this show, so give us your overall thoughts before we get into the top two matches from Junior Genesis.
First of all, I always have to check my brain when the term hardcore gets used in Japanese wrestling lore, right? Because it's different than American hardcore wrestling. So I would like to start with the fact that once I started with the tag match came first. The tag match started out a bit slow for me, but I got into it, so that was good. And then when the hardcore stuff hit, man, there was a moment where I reacted, where I felt like I felt it, but it wasn't happening to me. That alcohol bit, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah, this was.
But anyways, from where what Sonal was saying, I like that idea. To be quite honest, if New Japan were to put the effort into spotlighting the juniors with their own show twice a year and things of that nature, and keep them relevant throughout the entire year, I think that would, outside of just the Best of Super Juniors tournament, that would be a real cool thing to see. Definitely would help. It would help if they were to bolster their junior roster. But you know, it was a fun last two matches. It was cool to see Mao, as Sonal said. So that was cool to see. That Tanahashi versus Taguchi match, man, you know,
It made me laugh. I'll give it that. It did make me laugh.
It did.
The one, I'm sorry, one of the funniest spots in pro wrestling this year was Taguchi going insane, setting up for the Bumaye while Tanahashi just stoically stands behind him, and that shot of him looking through his legs at Tanahashi had me dying.
Man, I tell you, man, Taguchi is a legend, man. He's a freaking legend. Yeah, we need more shows to spotlight the juniors outside of just the Best of Super Juniors tournament. If they continue to do this, it'll be a cool idea. Overall, you know, the last two matches saved the show for me. But yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool.
Yes. We got we'll highlight a few of these comments as we talk about this matchup. But Junior Genesis, the semi-main event, saw the Ichiban Sweet Boys, Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles, defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships against the Bullet Club War Dogs, Robbie X and Taiji Ishimori. X and Ishimori sent Eagles soaring, but couldn't sustain the dominance over Fujita Fujita for long. Ishimori aided Robbie in maintaining momentum across the ropes for a shooting star press to stun their opponents. The early focus was on Fujita. It paid off in dividends for the War Dogs as they just isolated Fujita for a large portion of this matchup. But Eagles came in using his agility. He worked over the leg of Robbie X for a while. Eagles followed up with a Tope Con Hilo onto both members of the War Dogs and then hit the T-Bomb. X basically came back Eagles with some flashy sequence of moves and then hit a sit-out power bomb for a near fall. We get a flying drop kick and then a penalty kick showing shades of the leader of TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr. from Fujita. Fujita locked on his submission. Ishimori was able to break it up. Each team traded finishers on the others in a fantastic display. We get the best sequence of the matchup is this great sequence where everybody's hitting their finishers, and then Eagles super kicks Robbie X as he goes for a Pele kick or a standing moonsault. That shit was beautifully done, so perfectly timed. Robbie X nearly won the matchup with a poison Rana and then an execution cutter combination, but couldn't get the job done. Eagles desperately pulled out the Hyperon, hitting the Shining Wizard. 1, 2, 3. We get Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita retaining the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Like Jay News said, the match started off slow, but I thought it was brilliantly paced. It paced and paced. It escalated as the drama went on. Like I said, after that beautiful sequence of big moves, and the last 5 minutes had this Kurgan Hall crowd roaring, like it was rumbling in Kurgan Hall for the final sequence of matches. And that's what you expect from junior heavyweight tag team wrestling and what we've seen for over the past year from the junior division, past 2 years from the junior division. And Ichiban Sweet Boys are a great tag team to hold those titles. I gave this match 4.25 stars. I thought it was an excellent tag team matchup. Post-match, you get Master Wato dragging Yo into the ring, straight up tossing him in the ring himself, and then making a challenge to the Ichiban Sweet Boys for the next title opportunity. Robbie Eagles is like, damn, we never get to celebrate any of our title wins because someone else just jumps the line and makes a challenge, but they accept Kosei Fujita accepting on behalf of his team in Japanese. But like I said, I thought this match was excellent. The sequence, especially the closing stretch, the final 5 minutes, was some spectacular action in this one. Jay News, what you thought about Ichiban Sweet Boys versus the War Dogs?
I thought that much like you stated, man. That last
keeps cutting out. It's not got a stable connection.
Was definitely something that was the highlight of that particular match, right? And so, for all intents and purposes, I wanted to say and point out the one and only Robbie X for being as underrated and as undervalued as he is, because he gets to show out here in New Japan. He did incredible work during this tag match, man. Great chemistry with Ishimori for being a freaking new team and whatnot, and great chemistry with his opponents at the end of the day as well, because everything came off really well in during the tag match. So I want to give them their props. Ishimori moving like his 25-year-old self out there. It's cool to see whatever he wants to bring it on out. So that's always cool to see. And the Ichiban Sweet Boys keep doing it, man. So good title reign for those boys so far. They'll continue it probably against Wato and Yo. I'm glad that they came out for this challenge because it finally gives Yo something to do, right? So, and hopefully Yo stays healthy. That's the main ingredient in that whole thing. So yeah, but definitely a terrific match in my eyes, and the boys did well.
And we said this because they were out at the same time. They were both injured, I believe, at the same time. But we wondered if they would kind of pair them up together. So we got it. We got it here. We got a bunch of comments here in the chat. Genesis J says, great match. We also got Call Me Mr. Banda, who says, something tells me Ishimori and Robbie X will win the tag titles at Dontaku or Dominion. I don't see them getting another title shot that soon. I think that's too soon. I can see them getting it maybe post G1. Maybe post G1 right before the Super Junior Tag League, because you know how they love to do. They love to have a title change right before the Super Junior Tag League to switch things up and give someone else an opportunity. So maybe we get something like that. But yeah, I don't see them winning that soon. That's too soon. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see them. I don't see the Bullet Club boys winning the tag belts that soon. They'll have to give the champs other challengers after Yo and Wato. That is a wonder in my head as to who that will be. It'll be interesting if they get challenged by someone outside of the company, not necessarily within the company. So being that will probably take place after Best of Super Junior, so we'll see people from outside the company during the Best of Super Junior. So we might see some a team form during. So there's that of it, and yeah, man, I think that the Bullet Club boys look really good, and I'm with Mr. Banda. Hopefully they do end up winning the tag team titles, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon though.
We got Tavala B's here. Good to see you, sir. He says Ishimori is a muscle chihuahua. Quite the term for that. Sonal's back. How you doing, Sonal? I'm sorry, you're dealing with the internet troubles.
I hate technology. This always happens, and normally it like gets fixed within like 2 minutes. But I literally had to move rooms.
It's all right. You're here with us now. What did you think about Ichiban Sweet Boys versus the Bullet Club War Dogs?
Yeah, if anyone knows me, they'll know that I've been watching Robbie X for ages. I like to joke that when the match started, I was like, I'm rooting for Robbie. So you can choose which Robbie I'm rooting for. I really like it. There's a really diverse set of styles within that ring, because you've got the two veterans, obviously Robbie Eagles and Ishimori. They've got their own style, which is kind of more like mat-based and strength-based. But Robbie X in himself is a veteran. He has been in the independent scene in the UK for years, and he's more of like a high flyer. And then Fujita, who is this perfect mix of everything, because obviously he had his excursion in multiple places. He's been taken under the wing by TMDK. So it's really nice. I also found it really funny at the end when Wato just came in and the thing with Yo, he just pushed him in. Like, I feel like, what? And I think this is good, because we discussed this since Wato came back for excursion. So when he was with Tenzan, it was a bit shit. Then he got to... We're going to bring that up. Then he got to Taguchi, and we saw a bit more personality. Then Despy, more... And I think Wato really bounces off the people that he's with. And I think working with Yo, it's going to add another layer that he's going to be... He can bring out more fun side, a bit like he did with Taguchi. Like, still the pining that he did with Despy, but it'll be interesting. But I kind of feel like they don't put the belts on them now. It's again, like, because obviously Yo challenged with Rocky. Like, what are you doing, Yo?
He's like, I think that's why Yo was hesitant to come out, because he's like, I already have a partner, and this is cheating.
It's true, but I think, didn't Robbie say, it's like, how many partners? Yo is becoming like Rocky. I mean, he's like 50 million partners.
That is true. That is true. We do have a super chat donation from our good brother Vala B. Thank you so much, Vala B, for the support. He says, I see we might be getting a new dog pound steel cage match between House of Torture and the War Dogs. Yes, we're going to get into that for sure. Yeah, that was announced by David Finlay following Sakura Genesis. So we'll see when that happens, but we'll get into that for sure. Thank you so much for the super chat donation, Vala B. Let's talk about, though, the Junior Genesis main event. When this match started, I was like, for something completely different. We had a hardcore matchup for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. It was El Desperado defending against Clark Connors of the Bullet Club War Dogs. Connors and Desperado traded chops early on before switching to steel chairs. Connors lasted longer with the more seasoned champion, going so far to clank a trash can and pounce him directly into the bleachers, a bunch and into like a crowd of chairs in the audience. Connors introduced two tables at the ringside area that would become an important factor in this matchup. Then they took the fight to the stands. The pair started trying to choke each other, with the challenger nearly dropping Desperado on the wooden floor at the bottom. Desperado swung Connors into an Irish whip into the bleachers on the other side of Kurgan Hall. He was met by Connors, sending him back into the ring post by ringside. Connors started attempting a chair swing at Desperado at the same ring post, only for him to duck and stinging the arms of Connors. The pair met in the stands once more and started swinging kendo sticks. And my lord, if El Desperado does not have a concussion after this matchup, because Connors whacked this man right on the top of the dome piece in the crowd. I was like, oh my God, CTE at its finest. Connor started relentlessly hitting him with kendo stick shot after kendo stick shot. He ties Desperado's wrist to the ring post, and then freaking whips him with the kendo stick, with the wounds from El Desperado's death match 3-way that he had a couple of weeks ago opening up on his back. The War Dog resumed the punishment by lashing him repeatedly with the kendo stick, with all the scars and recently opened wounds painting his back. Desperado was basically crying in agony. Connors pulls out a bottle of whiskey onto and then pours it onto the flesh of El Desperado. I am cringing at this point watching this matchup. Referee Red Shoes Umino freed Desperado, who clambered right into another swing by Connors. The champion finally was able to regain some type of control in this matchup when he grabbed a broken glass bottle from Connors and ran it across his opponent's forehead, the same glass bottle that had the whiskey, dragging his head across the rope for extra burn, opening up where Connors was busted open. A power bomb from the top rope sent Desperado to the mat, nearly offering Connors the chance to send him through the outside tables. We get a barbed wire steel chair in the ring, which Connors spears into Desperado, opening up his arm where you could tell it was not shaved down barbed wire like the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match. No, this was a legit barbed wire because these two are maniacs. The foes then wrapped the barbed wire around their fist, and leading to Desperado slamming him into the exposed barbed wire from a nearby chair. We get Connors proceeded to slam the chair onto Desperado, and Desperado onto the chair as well. We get a pitching loco from Desperado as he regained control once again, but Connors is able to kick out, as did Connors with a big lariat. He gets a big lariat onto Desperado, and Desperado kicks out. They fight on top of the turnbuckles, where we just know something horribly wrong is about to happen, as Connors is trying to fight him and put him through the table, but Desperado gains control. He delivers a vicious spine buster off the top rope through the two tables at ringside, breaking the body of Connors. He puts him back into the ring. He covers Connors, and Connors kicks out in a callback to their matchup in the Best of the Super Juniors 2 years ago. Connors kicks out and flips off Desperado at the same time. Desperado has no other choice than to give him the J Driller into a second Pinche Loco 1, 2, 3. El Desperado retained the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, you get Stardom's Tekla, who came out to the ring with the Bullet Club War Dogs to bring Connors out. They come out, the Bullet Club War Dogs, as well, as they help out Connors while Desperado watches on. Desperado has 2 beers. He gives one to Connors. He gives one to himself. They both open the beer, and then they flip each other off in a show of respect for one another as they share a beer together. Alone in the ring, though, Desperado was greeted by CMLL's Templario, who challenged him for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship at a later date. This was absolute violence at the highest order. This was a hardcore match to a T. I also gave this 4.25 stars. I thought this was a great hardcore match. It played into it, and it gave you everything you would expect from a Japanese hardcore matchup. You had steel chairs, you had kendo sticks, you had glass, you had barbed wire, you had tables, you had absolute violence, emotion involved as well. And this is not only that, it's the longest junior heavyweight title matchup of all time. This goes over 35 minutes or so. This was absolute. It was long, but it never felt that long. It wasn't until the time calls and then the commentary talking about it after the fact that I realized how long this had been going on. But the violence just kept escalating and escalated, and man, this lived up to the stipulation 100%. Sonal, what did you think about Connors versus Desperado?
I mean, I'm not normally like a person who likes death matches, but actually this worked well, because I mentioned this in my own video, like I've never really seen Connors, like obviously he had that big steel cage match with the Empire, but I've never seen him in that sort of thing, whereas Despy, like we've seen him, this is like Despy's like pastimes. He's like, I'm just gonna do some death matches when I'm bored. And actually, I think like that worked because sometimes death matches like these can come off as awkward, but you could see that like Despy's experience really helped this flow. And like you said, SP3, it went, I think, around 40 minutes. I think I read somewhere. Yeah. And actually,
like 37 was what I heard was the call.
Yeah, like really close to that mark. And actually, I think it flowed really well. And I don't think it could have worked with anyone else. Like these two were the perfect, because you've got Despy, obviously he's I'd put out as the New Japan king of death matches, because obviously it's not a common thing in New Japan at all. But similarly, Connors, I think it works for Connors because Connors is a war dog. He's with the maddest of the men, including the fucking madman. Do you know what I mean? And it worked. Like and also these are two guys who aren't afraid to go, because these matches you can't. The minute you go 99%. It just looks wrong. And this worked perfectly. Like I said, I normally don't like death matches or anything like this, but this worked amazingly.
J News, what did you think about Connors versus Desperado?
Instinctively, I thought that these two gentlemen don't love themselves, is really what I thought when I was watching the match. And then just thinking through it and thinking through the happenings of what happened that night and then the night after and then what's being set up. Yet again, this is my own perspective and all that jazz and the celebratory Sapporo beers and the respect shown by both men. Connors is on his way out, man. This doesn't sit well with me right now, son. It just doesn't.
This man is always trying to push people out the door.
He's trying to prophesize people leaving.
It doesn't sit well with me, man. But regardless of the fact, to talk about the match, it was wild. It was visceral to the extent because there were certain points during the match where there were spots where I can imagine how it felt because I've either gone through something similar and things of that nature, or felt something of similar magnitude happen. And I'm there like, this is insane. When Clark Connors went to go break the glass bottle, when he wrapped the towel around it, that was the
And the
safest
glass
thing to do. It was the
fucking
safest
went
thing to do.
everywhere.
But he hit it the first time on the ring post and it didn't break, and he had to hit it the second time, and then it went all flinging into the crowd. I was like, that had better have been candy glass, man. Because God be damn, if anybody in the crowd got glass on them, dude, like real, like that's, you know, it is what it is there. The freaking barbed wire spot, I was like, are you guys really doing this right now? Self-inflicting with the harm. They wrapped it around their taped hands. They went at it. I was like, this is crazy. Shouts to Desperado for bowling a strike during the match as well. He cleared out an entire row of chairs there with Clark Connors using him as a bowling ball. Yeah, man, it was just, I want to know, like, no one else could have done this the way they did it. And it was glorious violence at the end of the day. You know, Despy is the New Japan Death Match King. You know, after he really played up his friendship with Jun Kasai all those years ago, it's just been, I don't know if you want to say uphill or downhill from there. So it's been one of those things, and great showing for Clark Connors, dude. Like this is his, I mean, regardless of it being a hardcore match or not, it's its best singles match to date on New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I'll give him that, because like SP3 said, there was bouts of emotion throughout the match as well, and neither of them were going to stop unless, you know, something too brutal happened. And at the end of it all, two Pinche Locos got the win here. El Desperado is he's the freaking personification of what it is to be an all-around badass Japanese pro wrestler in 2025. So shouts to Despy, shouts to Clark Connors. And yeah, man, definitely high praise for the match. I gave it a 4.5, to be quite honest. And I don't usually rate matches, but after the feeling that I had after watching the match, I was like, yeah, this is up there. This is up there, man.
I totally understand. So really quickly, we'll give our thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle for Junior Genesis. So let's put our thumbs in the middle. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, when you get a semi-main event and a main event like that, it's got to be a thumbs up, in my opinion. Overall, the show, I will give it a 7.5. 7.5. I thought, though, the final two matches really were the driving force for that Kurgan, and the Kurgan Hall crowd was amazing for those two matches. I thought the preview tags did what it needed to do. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Taguchi was funny, and seeing Mao and Ninja Mac in the opener, always a good time as well. Sonal, what did you give Junior Genesis?
I give it an 8 because I did love it, but I kind of want in the future, if we're going to have a junior show, because I like to all juniors, just juniors.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Every match. Because I think especially with this like new alliance with Noah, New Japan, and DDT, you can do that now. Because DDT, people who don't know, there's weight classes don't really exist. Do you know what I mean? So there's like a wealth of people who could take part, who you would probably never assume was a junior. You know, people like Ueno and things like that. Even Tetsuya Endo, he was like on the smaller side. So yeah, it was an amazing show. But going forward, if they're gonna do something like this again, all juniors.
That's a fair critique right there. Jay News, what about you?
Yeah, man, I'm with you, man. 7.5 was really more or less my take on it, just due to the tag matches and stuff like that. The two last matches definitely saved the show. We got the Best of Super Junior announcement the next night, right? It wasn't on this night.
Yes.
So yeah, 7.5 on that.
I kind of wish they'd done it on the junior show.
It would have made more sense to do it on the junior show. But
when it didn't happen on the junior show, I thought because last year it happened during the Dontaku tour, so I assumed that was going to happen. So I was very surprised when they did do it on the next day.
They got everybody booked, and yeah, when we get to that,
I think Dontaku, they're gonna announce like who's in each block. I think they've done this before, where they announce who's in the tournament first, and then announce who's in each block next. So that's probably what we get at Duntaku.
I got beef with somebody who didn't keep his promise for 2025. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I think I know.
I already know. I already know who you're talking about, sir.
We know, J News.
I will tell you though, I did not expect him in it anyway.
Oh, that's right.
I did not expect him.
That's garbage, man. That's garbage.
I know. We remember, but I don't know if he remembered or New Japan remembered, but we sure remembered. But we'll get into that shortly here. And yes, Mr. Vanda. Yes, that's what we're talking about. We'll get into it. But let's talk about.
That was going to be someone else, and that I completely missed. I was thinking it's Mustafa Ali, and then I was like, wait, there's somebody else that I completely missed.
No, it is him. But let's talk about Sakura Genesis. April 5th from Ryogoku Sumo Hall, over 6,000 in attendance at the show. It outdrew last year's Sakura Genesis, according to the commentary team. Our pre-show matchup we'll go through very quickly. We had a battle of the Young Lions, Katsuya Morishima versus Dake Nagai, having felt each other out. We got a filling out process early on. Morishima took control with the leg locks, but that was broken up by some rope race. Nagai came back, soon gained the advantage with a big drop kick. Then he got a cross body. We got a series of chop exchanges and a big slap as well. But Morishima took control once again, getting his advantage over Nagai. He locked on the Boston Crab after a few minutes. Nagai tried to get to the ropes, but he eventually tapped out due to the agony of the hold. Morishima is expressing his dominance over Nagai lately. Morishima looks like he's the head of the class so far, but solid work. They went just over 8 minutes with this one. I gave it 2 3/4 stars. Any thoughts on the Battle of the Young Lions and all?
I love Nagai. Ever since I love Morishima because I think they're complete polar opposites, really. When you look at them in the ring, I think we discussed it. Was it in World Tag League? We saw Morishima's funny side when he was teaming up with Tanahashi and that. Nagai, on the other hand, is someone that as soon as he started, there's been a future star because Ishimori brought up on it, and I think he's going to be a very good heel and maybe possible. I mean, if they continue as they are, a future War Dog.
That would be interesting. J News, what about you?
Nah, man. I said it on the preview. I figured Morishima would win here with all the momentum that he's had in shows as of late. He's been the strongest of all the men in black, as I like to say that the trainees are. So I would say that Morishima is probably closest to Excursion than the other. There's another 3, to be quite honest, if I'm not mistaken, sir. It's Nagai, Jisuda, and I think there's one more of the Young Lions. But decent enough match, good 8 minutes and stuff like that. So good to see Morishima get the win here.
Also, on a random point, I was on social media talking about Young Lions. According to the internet, Youngblood have finished their commitments in Germany and are leaving. So,
well,
my Shota Umino stable is coming.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
I thought as we were bringing up the Young Lions who are close to Excursion, we could maybe bring up ones who might be coming back sooner rather than later.
I have a feeling those 2 young men are going to be part of a War Dog stable that needs that needs some reinforcements.
Now this.
So there you have it.
Kicking people out, keeping people out.
That would work. That would work with because Lupe is German, right?
Yeah.
I think he'd fit perfectly in the War Dogs.
I don't need any of this negative energy y'all putting out there for the War Dogs. I like the War Dogs just how they are. But the main card of Sakura Genesis kicked off with a singles match, a grudge match, if you will, between Yuya Uemura and Sonata. We got some wrist control early on as both men were trading off holds. Uemura damaged Sonata's arm with a twist and then a drop kick. On the outside, though, Sonata gained the advantage. He flung Uemura into the barricade, further tossing him into members of the Japanese commentary table. Man, I felt so bad for Milano Collection getting plastered by Uemura as Chris Charlton and Walker Stewart sat on by nearby, disturbed by all of this. Sonata capitalized on his carnage. He hits the magic screw off the ring apron. He added another magic screw in the ring. Uemura came back. He halted Sonata's shining wizard, but Sonata was able to gain control once again. He got a nice little low blow. Looked like he was on the verge of victory. He went for the deadfall, but Uemura was able to stop that. Uemura would gain the advantage, and he would never let it go after he hits a big Hurricane Rana and then transitions into an arm breaker and actually gets the tap out victory in this one, really showing that he has the better of Sonata. He beat him in the New Japan Cup with the little Colt Cabana S roll pinning combination, and then here he made Sonata tap out middle of the ring, really showing things. And I said on our preview with Jade News, I was like, Uemura gets the win, and then he challenged for a title. I didn't get the challenge for the title that I expected, but he definitely would show up later in the show. But Uemura has put Sonata behind him with 2 straight victories here. This was a fine little opener. I love Uemura's offense in the ring. It just looks so smooth. He is like a Japanese version of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat sometime, with just how he moves in the ring with the arm drags and everything, and his work over the arm as well. So a strong matchup here to kick things off. I give it 3 stars. Sonal, what did you think about this opener?
I really think Uemura is shining. I mentioned this on my Twitter. That if you think about Uemura, he always seemed like the outsider. So he had a longer excursion. I remember there was a point where people didn't know he was actually coming back to New Japan. And then they'd done the Three Musketeers without him. But actually, while he hasn't picked up titles, he's very slowly moving his way up in people's hearts. And commentary are doing a really good job of pushing this whole narrative that he's actually just a very good person. He's doing charity. He's doing things for the people. And I don't think, because obviously everyone loves Tsuji and we've got our baby faces, but I don't think they've been pushing someone who is a baby face inside the ring, but also outside. And I think that's really going to benefit him in the future, because we've always said that he's got very great ring style. I like the image and stuff, but now by bringing in stuff he's doing outside, now you're really making the people go like, yes, this is someone we want to support.
Yes. So, J News, what do you think about your boy, Sonata, tapping out like the chump he is?
So I'm gonna the whole time you were talking SP3, and then the whole time Sonal was talking, I was trying to formulate what I was gonna say about this match in my head. Right, the first thing that came to mind was this was actually a solid match. Right, I wasn't disappointed with the match. Right, but this Sonata business, man, I don't. You know what? I'm officially off the wagon, son. I'm off the wagon. I'm out the gym.
Yes.
And
one more for the good guys.
And reason being is because of what happened later on in the night. It had nothing to do with this match. It's because
he got disowned. He got disowned.
Yeah. So that's one, and then two. I feel like he's in his gatekeeper role right now, where he's giving solid to good matches with the younger generation because he can still, go at a specific level and things of that nature. But to Mr. Bonda's point, he's Pin Balor at this point, right? He's the gatekeeper. He's eating all these pins, but he's giving people good matches. And he's just a staple in New Japan as of right now. Is Sonata with whatever it is that he's trying to personify on screen. Because he's dressing up like Seth Rollins nowadays, and that shit is just, it is what it is. I always considered Sonata a gentleman, a man of to use a colloquialism, of mad style. You know what I'm saying? That Sonata was that guy to me, but now he's out here looking like he just playing games, and I ain't with the shits, man. I ain't with the shits. So yeah. That's where I'm at.
We do have a super chat donation from Genesis J here. Thank you so much, Genesis J. Once again, he says Sonata just deteriorated since he lost the title. He deteriorated as he still had the title.
I can't be agreeing with that. But I agree that there's something. I was speaking to someone on Twitter, and we were discussing Sonata's thing, and almost like, because remember when he had the title and there was loads of issues, he had injuries and stuff. I almost feel like that's also playing part, because while we say Sonata can still have good matches, there's something missing from what we're usually used to, and I think technically that fits now that he's doing the heel stuff. But I don't know if anyone else has noticed that his style has changed massively from, because even in LIJ he was always like quite cold and stuff, but he still had that athleticism. Now it feels, and again, I don't know if this could be to do with some remnants, because remember he had quite a few injuries while he was champion.
Yeah, that's true. He shouldn't have been the champion that long. That's why he deteriorated.
Let it go. It happened. He's not champion anymore.
I'm never gonna let it go. I'm never gonna let it go because I was right. And I need Goto to make a public message that SP3 was right. He should have just lost it to Tsuji, just because it's been going well with the current champion, but maybe I'll be right again in that it should have ended here. Should have ended here on the high. I'm just saying. I'm not putting it out there. I'm not putting it out in the karma like J News is with the Bullet Club War Dogs. I'm just saying. We do have another super chat donation here from Andreas. Am I saying that right, J News? You say it better than me.
I think it's just Andreas Gaming.
Andreas Gaming saying, I love you, SP3. I love you too. We all love our community here. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. Thank you so much for the love. I need to hear that because there's some haters in the chat calling me Nepo Glazer. So I appreciate you, Andreas Gaming.
I did see that.
Hey, and now the same person going to say SP3 was right about that. Thank you. I appreciate you, Genesis J. I don't appreciate you calling me names, but I do appreciate you saying I was right. I am right. I'm right about a lot of things. But thank you so much, Andreas Gabin, for the super chat donation. That is awesome. Love you too. Appreciate you. And let's talk about the next match on the main card for the NJPW World Television Championship. It was El Phantasmo defending the gold against the great Okan. Phantasmo struck quick and fast in the early going. He hits a big dive to the outside, landing on the challenger. We get him throwing the challenger into the crowd, and he does an even bigger dive off the top rope, kind of springboard. He's just thrown out and just took out like the first row with the dive into the crowd. Okan planted Phantasmo on the ring apron, focusing more on using his weight and targeting the champion's weak shoulder. Khan set up a structure of chairs to be used for later. It wasn't used at that moment. Phantasmo found enough energy to hit Okan, sending him with a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Having dislocated his shoulder, though, we get him basically having Goto pull the shoulder back into the socket to give him a little bit more strength. He starts using off the strength and hits his unidentified flying opponent, the UFO. Khan once more took a Phantasmo to the outside as the 15-minute time limit was drawing near, just as Phantasmo was going for the Thunder Kiss 86, but it was Okan who had a plan here as he slammed him into the nearby chairs after Jado got the chair from out of his hands. He uses the TDD onto the chair structure. Hastily, he returns to the ring. Khan watched as Phantasmo could not get to his feet by the 20 count, and for the first time ever since the NJPW World Television Championship was introduced in 2023, we've had a title change via countout. As the Great Okan becomes the first new champion crowned via countout here. He had to last like 5 more minutes to get the time limit draw. He didn't need it. He just got the countout victory here, and he is your new NJPW World Television Champion. We should have been tipped off when Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton were talking about how Sakura Genesis and Ryogoku Sumo Hall has been a real point of success for the United Empire, talking about, Ospreay winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship back at Sakura Genesis in 2021, Hanare debuting in Ryogoku, and now here we have the Great Okan becoming the new World Television Champion. I actually had a good time watching this matchup. This was much better than their New Japan Cup matchup, where me and Jay News, we were basically on our preview questioning if Okan really even cares anymore. This one, he actually had some motivation. He actually worked well with Phantasmo here. It was like the exact opposite of what we saw from their matchup back in the New Japan Cup. So I gave this one 3.25 stars. Jay News, what did you think about Okan and El Phantasmo? I wanted Phantasmo's reign to go a little bit longer, but I feel like a 15-minute time limit belt is probably the best place for Okan to win a championship here at this point. Jay News?
You thought way better of this match than I did. Great Okan this. You disappointed me, sir. I've got nothing for you. This was shit. The way you won this match was shit, and I got no love for you here at Sakura Genesis. You are the NJPW World Television Champion by fluke and fluke only. And that's all I have to say. Sonal, what were your thoughts about this particular match here at Sakura?
Daniel's not even putting no effort into it. He's like, I'm done now. I'm like, Sonal to take over.
God damn.
Not talking about that.
Sonal, what did you think?
I'm not on the J News wagon. I'm like SP3. I quite enjoyed it. I think it was interesting that Okan. I said this, and I don't know if I mentioned this. I can't remember which review. We've done so many. That Okan thrives in this kind of match. Like, that's why he worked well with the King of Pro Wrestling. He works well with this TV title because he doesn't have to go that long. Do you know what I mean? He can have nice short matches, and we can deal with that. Yeah, it's not ideal. Obviously, he won by countout, but I think that it was a whole storyline, wasn't it? Of when TJP faced DLP, he was working on the neck, and like the whole back thing, and then that led on to this. And talking of TJP, I think we need to discuss obviously his contract stuff. I don't know if you've already spoken about it.
Yes. No, we haven't spoken about that. It's been reported by Fightful Select that he is currently working without a contract right now with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and a lot of guys are right now.
A lot of guys are.
Yeah, because every end of January every year, New Japan has a bunch of guys whose contract expires, and we haven't heard a lot about, like, usually around like this time of year, we're hearing that a bunch of the guys have re-signed for a year or something like that, but we haven't heard anything on that. That's like guys like Gabe Kidd, guys like David Finlay, guys like Clark Connors, guys like TJP. It's a lot of different names right now that are working without a contract. Probably the biggest was reported by Tokyo Sports of Tetsuya Naito, even though a lot of people thought that was just an April Fool's joke. But he is actually working without a contract.
It's weird, though, because with the Naito thing, so obviously I thought it was a New Year's joke, an April Fool's joke. And then on the first promo, they made it seem like an April Fool's joke because at the end, like, Naito was like, you can't trust the press, you can't, like, who's writing this sort of stuff? But then the next night, they kept bringing it up. I'm like...
He's a freelancer. He's a freelancer. They were treating him like Unagi, like freaking the girl who's in Stardom. I forgot what her name is right now. But anyways, yeah, man, I was like, what the hell's going on? And I posted about this on Twitter.
Oh, Tam Nakano. You're talking about Tam Nakano.
No. Unagi Sai.
Oh, Unagi. Yeah.
Unagi. She has very colorful gear and stuff like that. I forget what
I know what you're talking about.
She's a freelancer. She's a known freelancer, right? So I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, freelancers are a thing in the Japanese wrestling world, but not Naito. Not fucking Naito.
You know what's funny though? For so many years though, nobody knew that Suzuki was working freelance for. Then Suzuki's never had a contract with New Japan.
He's never had a contract.
He was working freelance for years.
Yeah, because he was always doing the DDT stuff. He was always doing all the Japanese indies. He was doing his spurts in America. He did American indies. Like Suzuki was doing his thing, man. He's just making the dollar at the end of the day. But to read about, like, when Sonal brought it up to me, she was like, "No, it's an April Fool's joke."
I genuinely thought it was a joke because of the day and everything. Like the article itself made it seem like it was a joke.
Yeah, it did. It did. Literally to the point that when Sports Illustrated, someone wrote the article before I was able to like jump in the chat, I had to let the chat know. I was like, it is April Fool's, guys, and Naito is a known troll. So, but what I've heard since then is that, yeah, but there's basically what I've heard from the people that I know is that, yeah, he is working without a contract, but yeah, no one expects him to leave.
Yeah, no, the same.
Yeah, Hiromu's the same. Like, in the post, like
going anywhere.
Yeah, Hiromu was like, "Oh, we need to carry on," and I said, "We just carry on this team for long." Like, I think he's just like doing it because he has the freedom, and I think he knows he's slowing down. So he's like, if I don't work without a contract, it just means that I can probably have a bit more flexibility of just being like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, he doesn't want to work a show or anything.
Yeah, Jeff Cobb's in the same spot at the end of the day, right? He's out here.
I love Jeff Cobb, man. I love Jeff.
Even though we'll talk about Jeff Cobb when we get to the matchup, but I will say I revealed this on True Hill Heat yesterday. I wrote a joke tweet. I was like, I feel like Jeff Cobb re-signed for a couple of months right when the reports came out that he was leaving and that WWE had him on the internal roster. I was like, Jeff Cobb is slowly bypassing Naito as the best troll in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And guess who liked the tweet? Jeff Cobb.
Jeff Cobb, guys, this is something to notice, right? So when I was in Japan for like Wrestle Kingdom and stuff, and I was tweeting a hell of a lot, I would just see Jeff Cobb like randomly. I wouldn't tag Jeff Cobb in it. There would be nothing to do with Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb doesn't follow me on Twitter, but like he'd randomly like the tweets, and I'm like, he's a lurker. He's just like, I can imagine he's just someone who just types New Japan in the search bar and like just like goes through and just like has a look at stuff. And I like respect that. I respect it. I think it comes up with some hilarious stuff.
Yes, I respect it. Appreciate you, Jeff. Appreciate you. Signal boosting me. We got Andreas Gaming with another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Andreas Gaming. You are killing the game. I think this is my first time seeing you in the chat. We appreciate you for joining us for our New Japan coverage here. Saying sending to hit that mark. Come on, donate. He's even calling everybody out in the chat. Come on, donate. Yeah, you heard him. You heard Andreas Gaming. Andreas Gaming also says J News is a negative with the smiling laugh emoji and is saying I love that match. See, they like Great O'Con versus El Phantasmo.
At the end of the day, this is true heel heat. I do get time to heal off here and then. At the end of the day, you know, I saved my my even keelness for the AEW stuff. When it comes to New Japan, nah, man.
Even keel, man. You turned on the chat during that Revolution preview. I don't forget. I
had to save it, man. I had to save it. But no, that's part of the reason as to why I didn't appreciate the match so much, the Ocon versus ELP match, is because having title switch hands via not a decisive pin or a tap out or something like that, I've never liked that kind of finish. So especially with all the work that ELP's put into first to come back to wrestle and then the kind of work he's been doing as TV champ, like for him to lose via count out was just weak to me. So that's why I was disappointed in Okan. Like I was hoping for a sheep killer, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Or a dominator win, and it didn't happen. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
As Mr. Bonda says, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Yes, indeed. But thank you so much, Andreas Gaming, for those super chat donations. But let's go on to our next match. Third match on the main card was Shota Umino versus Hiroshi Tanahashi as part of the Tanahashi Final Road. This one called Connection. Entering through the crowd in a huge Fatal Fury reference, Tanahashi probably wore a brown leather bomber jacket as Rock Howard, accompanied by Terry Bogard, portrayed by famed Japanese cosplayer Momo Momoto. Tanahashi began the match firing against Umino with cross bodies, but dropped due to a dragon screw leg whip. I was like, okay, Shooter, are you turning heel? You're using his move. Please turn heel. Please. Umino cruelly centered his focus on the now notoriously weak knees of Tanahashi. Of course, Tanahashi would try to change that fortune, going after the knees of Umino. The two traded forearms against the turnbuckle, with Umino showing more fury in his punches, more aggression as well. Replace that last, we get Tanahashi coming back furiously, using his tenacity to build up momentum as the crowd was getting behind him. He endured Umino's ruthlessness in this one, who showed a little bit more of an edge in this one throughout. We get the arm trap German suplex for a near fall. We get Tanahashi hitting 3 twisted shouts, a suplex, a sling blade. He hits the high flow attack, but he failed to hit a second high fly flow. Umino would recover, hits a vicious knee to the back of the skull, seeking a Northern Lights bomb. Umino nearly lost to a near fall by Tanahashi, but Umino was able to regain control, picks up Tanahashi, and drops him with the second chapter. 1, 2, 3. Shota Umino picks up a huge victory over Hiroshi Tanahashi, beating the ace. And post-match, he says that he wants to take over Hontai, despite Tanahashi giving the reins to Hontai to the reigning IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Hirooki Goto. But Umino with a huge victory here in this one. And I thought it was a good matchup. I thought they delivered a good matchup here. I give it 3.5 stars. Sonal, what did you think about this one?
I like that. I'm really liking this retirement tour thing, because everything is working to showcase. Tanahashi's looking like some of the best matches he's had in years. Like, he's got like a new, like, for example, like, I always worry about Tanahashi's knees, but by having Shota target his knees from the very beginning, everything played into the narrative rather than as I did, I think, before this retirement tour started. I was like, oh no, Tanahashi's legs. Whereas now I was like, no, his legs, when Shota did it. And actually, I think that this was another very good match for both of them. The ending was a bit surprising. I mean, I'm one of those people that I'm past Shota's gonna turn heel, because I know he's not. And like, I feel like just
I'm still gonna hold out hope. I'm just gonna keep holding out hope.
You're gonna have this every match, and then you're gonna get disappointment. It's not happened. So like, I just go in with no expectations of like any heel turn or any character change in terms. I just go in with the match, and I think obviously that whole idea of Hontai obviously led to the final of what happened. But yeah, I think it was a good match. I just find it really interesting how Tanahashi's got like, he's still like, his knees are still not great. But he's having some really good matches, way better than he's been having in the past few years.
Yeah, I thought the Shingo match on the road too was good as well. So yeah, he's putting on better matches than another person with weak knees who's also delivering some awful promos. Yes, I'm talking about you, Charlotte Flair.
I thought you were talking about Naito. I was like, until you said bad promos, I was like, Naito can never do a bad promo.
No, Naito does great promos. He doesn't have train wreck promos like Charlotte Flair. Jay News,
what did you think? The one that's been all over the internet that I have nothing about, but I've heard way too much about.
I know nothing about it, but I heard way too much about it. Yes, it's been all over.
For someone who like I don't watch WWE, you guys know this. Like I sometimes dabble on NXT to see if Eddie Thorpe has had a match. But I have heard too much about this promo. Like I don't know, it probably didn't even last that long. But I've heard more about that than I have about people talking about the New Japan shows, and mostly people I follow are New Japan fans. So I'm done with that.
J News, what did you think about Tanahashi and Shota Umino?
To Sonal's point, I think that since the beginning of the year, since the announcement came down that this was going to be Tanahashi's last year in professional wrestling, they've been playing up the sympathy card with everything they've been doing with him, telling that narrative in the ring with those stories and his opponents. So I think that's been well placed. I think that's been well done overall so far with Tanahashi. I am riding the wave with SP3 here. Shooter's going to turn, but he's got to turn with the white baby face of the company. And I think we're going to get that eventually. Because
I also like that's the thing, but I don't think that they would have turned him heel on like the third match of the show.
No, correct. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're right about that. I wanted it to happen, but it makes more sense if he beats Goto.
Don't say this SP3 might have a heart attack on the screen.
I don't know.
This might just be me and you for like the remainder of the show.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, from an emotional standpoint, I figure it'll make more because Goto is the head of Hantai, right? And Shooter wants to help lead Hantai. It would make more sense for Shooter to turn on Goto. Does he have to win the championship? No, not necessarily. But if they really want to make a thing about it, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, it's a thought.
Well, SP3 is going through all the emotions right now.
But you know why he's putting his hand on his face? Because he knows Gato would do it. He knows
exactly. That's it. That's why that paid me. That's why him saying it paid me so much. It's because this man
Gato's watching this and he's gonna do it to spite SP3 now.
This man does not understand. He's like, let's give him another world title match. And Ryogoku's like, boo, boo. I'm like, when will they learn?
They really want to drum it up to where it's so, because it's bad, but they want to get it so bad to where it's like it's complete and utter hatred. It's boos right now. It's not hatred. They want to get it to a boiling point of hatred with him. And if he takes out Goto at some point with how hot Goto is right now, and he is the baby face of the company as the champion, I think that would make all the sense in the world. Like I said, does he have to become champion? I don't think so. But would they do it? Yeah, I think they do it.
Like you always say that, like we wouldn't do it. It's Gato. We've seen him put the title on Evil.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
If anyone remembers, remember that? Or has everyone swiped it from their brain like I have?
I tried to, and then they posted a Bullet Club history video on New Japan World
that
I watched, and I got reminded of it.
I'd have got to like War Dogs and just like skipped anything that had Evil's face in it.
I was like,
I watched that beginning bit and then turned it off. I was like, I don't want to be reminded of this.
I don't want to know what's ruined it.
I saw Prince Devitt with blue trunks on in 2013, and Bad Luck Fale in good shape, brother. I was like, this is
Bad Luck Fale having good matches. Wow, if you remember that time.
Wow, remember when? We got another super chat.
I still can't believe Fale was in the New Japan Cup. That's still that for me is still gonna be a mind blow.
We got a super chat donation once again from Andreas Gaming. Thank you so much. You've been killing the game for us today. We appreciate it. He says, will there be a Dynasty review? We got a Dynasty watch party tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Romeo and the gang. Chase will be there. Heel Steven will be there. We got that. If you want to watch along with us, you could do that. And as well, tomorrow, I'm thinking if J News is good with this, 12:05 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be here here with our AEW Dynasty review. It'll be myself, Jay News, and Professor Chris of the NWA podcast will be joining us for that. So it should be a good time. So yes, we always do previews and reviews for all the WWE, AEW, New Japan, TNA pay-per-views. So you got us locked here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified so you know when we go live. But let's talk about the fourth match on the main card here for the never open weight 6-man tag team championships. House of Torture, Ren Narita, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi defending against the Bullet Club War Dogs, Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and Taiji Ishimori. An all-out brawl right before the bell even rang, as has been custom between these two factions in the New Japan Cup Tour. One by one, the War Dogs fell to the House of Torture forces. The trio of Narita, Sho, and Takahashi took turns pegging Driller for a while, picking him apart, deterring Kid and Ishimori, but not for long. Kid chopped at Narita's chest, who then introduced him to the mat with the guillotine clothesline, but the break came back. We get Drilla with a big toss of Sho on top of a pile of opponents on the outside. We get Kid hits a big old lariat on Narita, setting up Drilla for the Drilla Killer, but House of Torture were able to break this up for a while. We get a referee bump towards the end of this matchup where it leads to Clark Connors coming down as the rest of House of Torture try to get involved and cheat their way to victory, but Clark Connors breaks that up, as well as Sonata. Clark Connors leaves the ring for some reason and leaves the ring to Sonata to help things out. He has a guitar in his hand, and I'm just like, oh dear Lord, I know what is about to happen. This looks way too familiar. Sonata looks like he's about to hit Ren Narita, but Drilla gets onto his feet and he turns around and he smashes Drilla with the guitar, busting him open. Narita then took advantage of this. He crawls over and covers Drilla Maloney. 1, 2, 3. The House of Torture retain the never open weight 6-man tag team championships. Sonata pulled with his goofy red boots, pulls off his jacket, and he rips it open to reveal that he has a House of Torture t-shirt, thus defecting from the War Dogs after a long build-up, a slow burn of will he or won't he turn on the Bullet Club War Dogs. This man can't be trusted. Kid, Ishimori, and Connors chase the House of Torture out of the ring and then tended to Drilla, while Gabe Kidd says that they will kill the House of Torture one way or another, and they're going to kill Sonata for turning on them. This dude, Sonata, is the biggest homie hopper in pro wrestling today.
I think he's beaten the record. He's got the most changes.
4 factions in 2 years. 2023, he came in as a Los Ingobernables de Japón member. Then he turned on them and joined up with Just 5 Guys. He was in Just 5 Guys for a year and a half, and then turned on them last fall to join forces with the Bullet Club War Dogs. And less than 6 months later, he is with a new faction, the House of Torture. This dude can't be trusted. Don't trust
commitment
Sonata.
issues. He has commitment issues.
And he joined up with a person that turned on him before. Evil turned on him. So no.
It's like a really toxic relationship where, like, you know, the person turns on you, but you somehow always end up back with them.
It's Stockholm syndrome. That is it. Yeah. The match I gave 2.5 stars. It wasn't much
short.
of a match. It was more of an angle.
It was short. I didn't have to see Yujiro in the ring that long. I'll count that as a bonus.
There's that. What did you think, Sonal?
Yeah, I mean, the least amount of time I have to see House Torture, the better. The problem is that actually somewhere I thought the War Dogs come in, because I think we've discussed this. The team of Driller, Gabe, and Ishimori is epic.
Yeah.
They work perfectly well. They are the perfect blend of heavy. It's like at the start where you had both Ishimori and Gabe flipping off the top of the is the perfect team. And I think I got my hopes up too much. You know, I was like, oh, they're gonna win. We're gonna have some exciting no. I had my heart broken again and had to file for another divorce. I was already divorced with Sonata, but I had to add another divorce onto that because the guy came in with those MCFH boots. And
Seth Rollins, he's been invading Seth Rollins' closet apparently.
like, because I want to bring up what Jay News said earlier, like way at the start. Sonata was known for being prim, proper. He was the style master, and like, just what? Like, I was like kind of low key. I kind of liked the white ring gear, which now I realize was probably like a premonition or something. But like, he's always been really stylish, and like every time I've met him, he's always looked great, and he has this way about him, and I'm just like, what are you doing now?
J News.
Just go to J, yeah. Go to J News. I'm not talking about this no more. It upsets me too much.
J News, what do you think about your former favorite wrestler being a homie hopping bitch?
You know, sometimes you've got to accept people for who they are at certain stages in their lives. And this is where Sonata is in his life right now. And for me, I've come to the part where I've accepted it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to enable it, that I'm going to be around for it. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be proof positive of everything he does. No. Brother, we're going to cut ties right here, right now. Take yourself, yo raggedy ass bicep and that raggedy ass clothes over there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with the shits no more.
I like this energy.
I will say this, which was very specific to last night. He was not in the ring with Evil at any time. At the same time.
That's just true.
So, I'm not too sure until I see them together. I'm not too sure where this is going. Because to your point, he's homie hopping. So we don't necessarily know where he might end up again. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. And yeah, man, I mean, disappointment is not even the word anymore, man. It's just one of those things where I've accepted it. It is what it is. I put in the 10,000 hours to try to master this in the gym with him, and he's never been about that life. He ain't never been about that life, SP3, and I ain't with that, man. So I can't corroborate everything that he's doing. I can't co-sign the gear anymore. This ain't it, man. This ain't it.
Big Man Dogs is here. I love how Big Man Dogs just showed up to troll about Sonata being a homie offer. He's like, Sonata realized Evil was right. This was amazing. I hate
Sonata.
you.
Sonata needs to come back to the UK so I can slap some sense into him.
You need to get your man straight. I need to get him
on the straight and narrow again because I don't know what's going on with him.
We got a couple of super chat donations here from Andreas Gaming once again. Thank you so much, Andreas Gaming, for the support. You've been killing it. We appreciate you. Saying salute indeed, and also giving it a 10 out of 10. The Sonata homie hopping. Yes, gets a 10 out of 10.
Honestly, I thought that nobody could rival, obviously, because the OG faction hopper like recently has been Robbie Eagles, because obviously he went from Bullet Club to Chaos to TMDK, but Sonata's and then Sonata tied that, but the man is now beaten that record.
Yeah, and it wasn't always Robbie's fault. Like Robbie was excommunicated or moved around. No, Sonata purposely did all this. You know what I'm saying?
And also, just to correct SP3, Sonata didn't turn on LIJ. He amicably left.
Yes,
he turned on them. He turned on them.
No.
He left him. He left him hanging. He beat Naito, and then he says,
like he did with just 5 guys.
I need to move on. It's not you, it's me. I need to move on and go with a new girl.
That's a very healthy relationship. You know, you realize you need some time apart. But then it's when it got toxic is when how he did it with just 5 guys and how he did it with War Dogs. You know, if he would just have gone, you know what, Tai Chi, I don't think we're working right now. I think I thought we could have what you and Zach had, but it's not working. We'll leave that. Then that'd be fine. But the man is just he's flipped. He's just like, I'm just gonna go the worst way.
Homie hopping whore. This homie hopping whore. Oh, I hate him. Genesis Day says, I can't even call it full circle. Sonata is a lost cause. Exactly.
He's going to
Lost
Hontai
cause.
next. Give him 6 months. And
He's
going
nobody's
on.
face. He's nobody's face. At the end of the day, get out of
Big
here.
Man Dogs. Big Man Dogs has been fantasy booking this for a while. He says, I've been fantasy booking Sonata and House of Torture ever since the crowd started turning on him. So I was very happy.
This
When
is
did the crowd turn on him? Like, I've not seen like an actual
during his title reign.
during the tail end of his title reign. The crowd was not. They weren't turning the lights on anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I had blinkers during that time. I was still like Sonata.
She's like la la la. She's like la 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 la.
I know. I genuinely didn't even realize. I thought it was just like some Western fans, specifically SP3. I didn't realize. I was still there, like at the end of every show, turning my lights on from home.
There were some Japanese fans that were not feeling they weren't on the Sonata train. They weren't turning the lights on anymore. We were you and I were in the same boat, Sonal. We were turning our lights on. We were trying to keep the lights on at nighttime so that he would have a light to find his way home. And where are we at now? Where are we at now?
Sonal realizing that she's had blinkers on is one of the best moments.
I've never had blinkers. I always thought with my favorites, I've always been like, I like them, but I genuinely did not realize this was a thing. I thought it was just SP3. I thought it was just SP3 at this point.
No. The Japanese crowd, they've evolved in the last decade or so, where if they're really not liking an act, they just start to boo them. And with like, I don't know if you can call it respectful booing, but it is respectful booing in a sense, because they don't get out of line.
Now I need to go back and watch the final matches to see these lights not turning on.
Yeah, it was just at some points it was just one side, and I was like, what's going on, man? It used to be all over the place. You know?
I'm heartbroken now.
Oh, this is great. This is so great. Oh my god, this is so great.
I didn't even have these blinkers for Jay or anyone. I've liked a lot of people as it's gone on.
Oh my god, my face hurts. This is great. Andreas Gaming says gives us a super sticker. Thank you so much, Andreas Gaming. You have totally helped us out. Helped us hit our goal here. We appreciate you. Hopefully you join us tomorrow for the Dynasty review as well. But oh man, that was one of the best moments of our New Japan coverage ever, is Sonal realizing that she's had blinders on for Sonata for years.
Like obviously I noticed it with Shota. Like I love Shota, but I noticed it, and you could see the moment it was happening. I would even put it maybe down to like the match he had with Ospreay, like the title one. But with Sonata, I never had that. I literally just thought it was just USP3.
She thought I was just being negative.
I thought that SP3 and some Western fans are just hating for the sake of hating.
Well, I'm glad you.
The whole life's a lie.
Right.
Briefly,
Big Man Dogs is right. They wouldn't boo Sonata, but they did stay quiet. So indifference is worse, though. Indifference is worse.
I didn't notice anything.
It's worse. Indifference is worse.
I don't know if they ever booed him, but they were intentionally quiet.
It was passive. It was passive. Like the support was passive aggressive.
I love the reason I broke out in such laughter was because Kobe Mr. Bond posted something. Cold-blooded Lakers at 5. That's
Lakers at 5. Yes. Cold-blooded Lakers at 5.
Oh my God.
We did not
Oh.
cover. We covered a little bit of Sakura Genesis yesterday on the flagship podcast, but we didn't get to one of the bigger news points of Saturday's show, which was the Best of Super Juniors announcement. Cool graphics as well. It's like a comic book theme this year, and the lineup is as follows. We have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion El Desperado. We got the vet of the Best of Super Juniors making his 21st appearance, Ryusuke Taguchi. We got Yo here, making his 7th appearance in the Best of Super Juniors. Master Wato, making his 5th appearance in Best of Super Juniors. I know Jay News was happy to see Kushida, the Kush the God, is back in the Best of Super Juniors, making his 12th appearance. He was extra happy as well because AEW's own Kushida's tag team partner in the International Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin the Jet Knight, will make his 3rd appearance in the Best of Super Juniors tournament. Ninja Mac is back for the 2nd year in a row, and he had the New Japan graphic behind him, not Pro Wrestling Noah like last year, so that was interesting in my eyes. We had Kosei Fujita joining the field for the 2nd year in a row, as well as his tag team partner, fellow IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion Robbie Eagles, will be making his 7th appearance in the Best of Super Juniors tournament. Of course, the all-time winner of Best of Super Juniors, 4-time winner, 10 times in total making an appearance in the tournament, Hiromu Takahashi. Bushi, of course, another member of Los Ingonables de Japón, making his 13th appearance in the tournament. Francisco Akira will be making his 4th straight appearance representing United Empire. Taiji Ishimori, a multi-time finalist, making his 9th appearance in Best of Super Juniors tournament. His fellow Bullet Club War Dog, Clark Connors, will be making his 4th straight appearance in the tournament. On the other side of the spectrum for House of Torture, you have Sho making his 8th straight appearance. Yoshinobu Kanemaru, his fellow House of Torture member, making his 8th appearance in the Best of Super Juniors. CMLL will be represented by somebody. I don't know what. Maybe they'll have a tournament to determine that. I think maybe this would have been Mystico before his injury. So I think that's why they are not announcing who it is yet. Then you have representing DDT, Dragon Daya, making his 2nd straight appearance in the Best of Super Junior tournament. And then we have our debuting stars in the Best of Super Juniors tournament, also from DDT Pro, Mao. I know Sonal was happy to see Mao in the Best of Super Juniors tournament, and I was very happy to see the youngest member of this year's tournament from AEW, Christian Cage's baby boy, part of the patriarchy, Nick Wayne, will be debuting in the Best of Super Juniors tournament. What a field it will be. One of the most exciting tournaments of the whole entire year. Sonal, what do you think about the field for Best of Super Juniors 32?
I am honestly, every year I get excited because everyone knows Best of Super Juniors is my favorite time of the year. But this lineup is so diverse. Like I was like trying to think, and like technically, aside from Sho and Kanemaru, because House of Torture, I wouldn't mind who won. Like I think there are some people we know won't win. As much thing, I'm glad that Taguchi is back. I feel like as much as obviously we talk about him, it was sad last year when he couldn't do it because I feel like that's like his thing. Mao, uber excited. Ninja Mac, guys, if you follow my YouTube channel, Sonal's Live, in a few weeks, an interview with Ninja Mac will be coming up, and we did mention the Best of Super Juniors, so. Yeah, I'm hoping that Dragon Daya gets a better shot this year because obviously last year he was a replacement. So I hope he does what this. It's just a whole hell of good names, and it does show that you know what, because most of it is New Japan stars. Like you know what, the New Japan junior roster, they're doing well. They've got a lot of diversity, and I'm glad that obviously with the news with AEW for Kevin Knight that he's still there, that he's still making his appearance in the Best of Super Junior.
Indeed. J News, what did you think about the field?
Shout out to Nick Wayne. To to continue on his current storyline, he ain't asking no damn body for permission to go to Japan, if you know what I'm saying. Nick Wayne's a star waiting to happen.
How old is he? Sorry, because you said he was the youngest. How old is
He's
he?
20 now, right?
I think he's still 19, going on
yeah?
20.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a young guy. He's a young man.
Making Fujita look old.
Young-
Fujita's 22. He's making him look old.
Like him, it's him, Billy Starks, and Javon Evans and Leon Slater are like they're so young. I had an interview with Leon Slater, and I was like, I feel like I'm talking to one of my nephew's friends from the UK.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see Nick Wayne in this environment. This is gonna be his first trip abroad, so good shout to him. Hopefully, he gets some good advice, some sound advice, and he gets to hang out with some cool folks and have some cool ass wrestling matches at that. Since we're here and we meant to talk about, we hinted at it earlier. We're going to talk about it now. I understand that Mustafa Ali is in a feud right now with New Yorican Mike Santana and over on TNA. And
the best feud in TNA.
Huh?
The best feud in TNA. By a country mile. It's not even close. No one's close to them.
And they're holding it up right now because I don't know where TNA is at in their business structure right now with everything that's been going on. A lot of people leaving, executives, things of that nature, people being taken out of the back. It's a whole thing. But I would like to say that I am heavily disappointed. I am one of those people that do hold those accountable when they don't come through on their word. And Mustafa Ali, you're one of those people, man. You cut a promo saying that you would come to Best of Super Juniors this year, and now you not here. Why? Because you got to go save a sinking ship. Hey, bro, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Go get your money elsewhere, man. All right? There's money out there for you. Go get it elsewhere, man. You got a great wrestling school, by the way. You got a great looking wrestling school out of Chicago down.
Hey, if New Japan ain't gonna pay him, why is he obligated to be here?
No, I'm not saying he's got to sign a contract with New Japan. I'm just saying this.
No, but I'm saying New Japan ain't paying nobody.
I mean, they're doing the per diem shit. You know what I'm saying? Per tour. You know, the cash grab as they do. You know, they just don't want to lock down. They don't want to lock down people to contracts for some reason or another. So there's that part of it. But I am definitely.
Sorry, I was reading the comment.
Big dogs be killing me.
I was reading the comment. I was like, "That's so funny."
Didn't know TNA had views, to be honest.
To be fair, I forgot TNA was a thing. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, man, it's you know, it's the other viable alternative third brand in America, and people still watch it from time to time. You know, but that's what Mustafa's doing right now, and props to him. But I am disappointed that he is not a man of his word, and I'm going to hold that against you until you right the ship, Mr. Ali. So in Ali, I no longer trust. So that is where I'm at with it, and that's how I'm going to put it there. The rest of the lineup. Like Sonal said, banger lineup. New Japan has a whole slate of juniors that we are definitely behind and things of that nature. I wouldn't have minded to see other guys from around the globe participate in the Best of Super Juniors and stuff like that. I would have definitely liked Robbie X to be a part of the Super Junior tournament with the showing that he had in the tag tournament. So that would have been cool. We don't know who the CMLL representation is going to be, but I have an inkling. With Mystico being injured, it could either be Templario, being that he does have his upcoming match with Despy coming. He'll just default be the CMLL guy, or it could be Soberano Jr., which will be fun. But yeah,
I was surprised Teton wasn't there.
True,
well,
but
Walker Stewart came out and said that Teton wasn't going to be the CMLL representative, and that's what opened up the spot for someone else from CMLL.
Yeah, but I was quite surprised though, because obviously Titan is not just CML, he's LIJ.
Yeah.
So I was surprised, but it'll be interesting to see who they pick for CML.
Yeah. So next up, we had Never Openweight Championship up for grabs, and this was one of the matchups I was looking forward to the most on this show. Konosuke Takeshita defending against TMDK's own Ryohei Oiwa. Evenly matched early on, Oiwa proceeded with trepidation against the hard-hitting Takeshita. That paid off as he sent Takeshita into the barricades early on, but Takeshita came back, kicking the challenger right in the skull. In the ring, Oiwa tried to work over Takeshita's arm, setting up for his new submission finisher, concentrating his strength to soften and weaken it up. But Takeshita used his height and power advantage in doing top rope superplex. I love the top rope superplex and how the referee always sells it by jumping up. Then he proceeded, hits the big old blue thunder bomb for a near fall. He was bullying Oiwa at this point, but we get a back and forth exchange, which led to Oiwa twirling Takeshita around, turning him inside out with a big old lariat. After some more back and forth, we get Takeshita hits the big old lariat. Oiwa tries to go for the grip, but Takeshita kept blocking it at various times in the matchup. He eventually locks on his London Dungeon style finisher, style submission move that Robbie Eagles taught him, but Takeshita was able to take him down. He hits a big brain buster, but Oiwa kicks out at one. Oiwa, that got a huge ovation, huge pop from this Ryogoku crowd. Then you get Oiwa, he gets up, he hits Takeshita with a lariat, and then Takeshita kicks out at one. They just start going back and forth, just throwing bombs at one another. You hear the 10-minute call, and these guys just even go off even more, trading suplexes, trading forearms. This whole exchange ends with Takeshita finally hitting the world-class forearm, removing his arm pad, and just completely blasting Oiwa. And then he finally finishes them off like less than 3 minutes later with the Raging Fire. 1, 2, 3. Takeshita retains the Never Openweight Championship in an absolute certified banger. I am loving Takeshita in New Japan Pro Wrestling because they give him 10 to 15 minutes and they say, go out there and have this guy's best match. We saw this with Boltin Oleg at New Beginning in Osaka. And then once again here, I think this was Oiwa's best match since he returned to New Japan Pro Wrestling last year. They just went out here, just had all thriller, no filler, balls to the wall action from the minute go. This matchup lived up to the expectation that I wanted. You had the in-ring action, you had hard hitting, you had some fighting spirit, great storytelling. Oiwa showing that sense of urgency with the kick out at one that just drive things up to the next level for the closing stretch here. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This was an absolutely tremendous matchup. Sonal, what's your thought about Takeshita versus Oiwa?
Now, I mean, I could be quite like thinking, we all know Takeshita is amazing, blah, blah, blah. I want to give the props to Oiwa. Because, I mean, well, first of all, he had a new look. So he got new ring gear and removed the blonde, and he just had highlights and stuff. And you could see he came in with a very different attitude towards this. And while I knew that Takeshita was going to win, there were moments where, like, Oiwa was making me think, you know what, they might actually go in the way of that. And I think Oiwa has someone who's been constantly improving. Like, his return wasn't as, like, boom as people, you know, that we've had in the past, like Tsuji and things like that. But under the tutelage of, he had Noah, and now under the tutelage of TMDK, he is doing phenomenal things. And actually, I can see him as like an Uemura, someone who is very multifaceted and someone who can really get the crowd on his side. So, yeah, like you said, I mean, I'm not going to go as far as say it was with his match against Oleg, it was like amazing. It was probably Bolton's best match, but that's not saying much, like from my perspective anyway. I'm still not on the Bolton Oleg bandwagon, I'm going to say that. But I think that like Takeshita is doing a great job with the title. Like he is okay, he's not on every tour, and I think Oiwa brought that maybe in the post-match comments, but actually he's doing very, very good things when he comes to Japan with them. And this match wasn't long, I think 12 minutes.
It was just under 13 minutes.
Just under 30 minutes. That's all it needed. It gave fans
Yeah.
a glimpse, a little taste of what we wanted, and like we want to see Oiwa versus Takeshita again in the future when Oiwa's even more experienced. But it was enough for us to go, damn, like it was like just under 30 minutes, but damn, that's one of the best matches on the card.
Yeah. I think if it wasn't for the main event, this would have been my match of the night for sure. And yes, Takeshita sets the record for the winningest never open weight champion in a single
it's not
ring.
that hard though.
I know they talked about that before the matchup that this never openweight championship 43% of the title matches has a title change. So Takeshita got V5, his 5th title defense, makes him the most winningest single never openweight champion of all time. So Takeshita's killing it so far with the never title. J News, what did you think?
Another banger had, another weekend it was for the great Konosuke Takeshita. We did the AEW preview the other day. I was told that Konosuke Takeshita wasn't going to be at Dynasty, and that was wrong. He is wherever he's supposed to be right now in Philly. He took the 14-hour plane ride flight. He will be there.
Wow. This man's amazing.
So, yeah, man, Take's no joke, bro. Props to him. Props to Oiwa, man. I used to give Oiwa shit when he was a young lion because I didn't know where the hell he was going. I didn't know if he was going up, if he was going down. But after his excursion to Noah, after his return to New Japan, him teaming with he joined the correct faction. They put him in a faction that was going to be able to shine the light on his positives and shore up his negatives. And those guys, they've done a good job with him, and his slight change in demeanor and how he goes about matches has definitely translated in the ring. And he was all business, like you said, man, all killer, no filler in this match. And these two guys definitely went at it. Konosuke Takeshita can do no wrong in my eyes right now. He is one of the best in the industry going today. And Ryohei Oiwa, man, big things are going on for him in the future. That's all I have to say about that. There's more to come with him. Yeah, man. The young generation doesn't look too bad. They just got to shore up a couple of loose ends here and there. But right now, everything is going strong, and I gotta give him props for it. So, great match. And looking forward to whatever is next for Takeshita. From the New Japan side of things. So we'll see how it all breaks down for Windy City Riot because it'll be in Chicago, so he'll stay local this week. Does he have a match scheduled for? Oh yeah, no.
Was for Chicago? He's versus Tana.
Tana, right? Yeah, okay. So is it for the title?
Yeah, it was first announced as a never openweight championship matchup, but then it got announced as a non-title match.
All right, if it's non-title, then Tanahashi wins. So
see that? I can see that.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. We got Genesis J with a super chat donation here. Thank you so much, Genesis J, for the support. Saying Takeshita playing with his food too much. He wants to have a banger. So he has to play with his food just a little bit.
Well, but he's not made any of his opponents look bad in the process.
No.
Which is a big thing.
Yeah. Call Me Mr. Bonda, they had a banger in the G1. He said, I need Takeshita versus Hanare one day. Cry emoji, heart emojis. Yeah, they had a banger in the G1, but I would love to see him go at it again for sure. J News, I think this is a comment for you. 100 Heed says, how we feel about this last baseball game? I don't watch.
I have no idea. I've been off the clock for the last hour and a half, so I got no clue. So thanks.
All right. One last match before Sonal has to run because we got to discuss Jeff Cobb. because next up we had the United Empire's Callum Newman and Jeff Cobb going challenging Los Ingonables de Japón, Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. Takahashi had the early advantage on Callum Newman, bolstered with assistance by Naito. They hit nice little double teams until Cobb tried to get involved. They hit the tendonero on a couple of occasions throughout this matchup. Newman fought back with a big drop kick. Cobb came in and crushed Takahashi with a standing moonsault. The pair teetered for control, but Hiromu reversed a powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana on Cobb. Naito soon followed with the Espinaza and later a tornado DDT onto Newman. Newman, though, blocked the Destino. Hiromu added a drop kick, so he was able to hit it. Then they hit the Tendonero for a near fall. Hoping for the Tour of the Islands, Cobb's flight for Naito had been canceled, though, due to turbulence from a drop kick from Hiromu. Once more, we get a counter, but Cobb turns a DDT into the Tour of Islands on Naito. He then hits Callum Newman hit Naito with the Os Cutter 2.0. Cobb then sent Naito into a running knee from Callum Newman, and then Callum Newman finished him off with a leg trap brainbuster. 1, 2, 3. Not only did Callum Newman finally pin Tetsuya Naito after several singles matches going 0-4 against Naito over the past year, he gets the win for the United Empire to crown new IWGP Tag Team Champions. Jeff Cobb winning the tag team titles once again. He's won it with Great Okan in the past, now with Callum Newman. Callum Newman becoming the youngest IWGP Tag Team Champion in history. That's great stuff for United Empire on this show. Great Okan win the TV title, them winning the tag team titles, and I thought this match was a lot of fun. This was like a roller coaster where I really didn't know who was going to win, so I was happy for United Empire getting the win. And then Jeff Cobb put the cherry on top, going over the commentary and said, "What happened? What happened? I thought I was leaving. What happened, internet? What happened?"
Jeff Cobb, man.
What a troll. I love Jeff
He's
Cobb
amazing.
after this matchup. This match I gave 3 3/4 stars. Like I said, a lot of fun. Sonal, what you thought?
I'm just gonna say, like, Jeff Cobb is actually hilarious. Like, he's the Tetsuya Naito of the Gaikokujin wrestlers. Like, that man just doesn't care whether it's on social media. Like, literally before the match, he was like, "I'll tell you the truth," and then just like, everything fit. This match was great. I really hope that Hiromu and Naito continue teaming because, like we said with Tanahashi, how these retirement tour matches have suited him. Naito's shitty knees have been helped by the fact that he's working with Hiromu because Hiromu can mask that. Do you know what I mean? With like the Tendedero is like amazing. But also I want to give a massive shout out to Callum Newman because I remember when Callum first came to New Japan and there were a lot of haters. A lot of people saying that his style wasn't great. He was an Osprey lookalike. But just not as good. And actually, Callum is doing very good things. People forget he is 22 years old. He is younger than Fujita, who was the youngest IWGP champion. He's like, I think that people forget how young he is. Do you know what I mean? Like, because we always say, oh, like the young ones, like Shota and all that. Callum is much younger, and he has been constantly growing, not just in his ring, because obviously he's piled on weight to be a heavyweight, but still faster than probably 80% of the juniors. He's improving with his characterization, with his ability to be with people in the ring, to team with different people. And I think the Empire, like, I think I was going into this tour, like, this got to be near the end of the Empire, right? We're seeing it. But actually, is this a bit of a resurgence? I mean, like, no pun intended for the US show. But is this a resurgence for the thing? Because I guess going into Best of Super Junior, Akira is probably one of the top picks for a lot of people as well. So
yeah, I would say he's my early pick for Best of Super Juniors right now. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This was like kind of an FU to anyone who thought United Empire was closing shop, and this was a big FU to anybody who thought Jeff Cobb was leaving. J News, very quickly, what did you think about the tag team title match?
I thought it was good, man. I thought it was like Sonal said. Shout out to Callum Newman, man. Been a supporter since day one. I think the kid's got a great future in the industry overall, but he's got a lot to prove in New Japan, and this is just the first step on his way to bigger and better things. Jeff Cobb's been the man since I saw him under a mask, and so
Matanzo Cueto.
And Matanza Cueto was the answer to CVV's interview question with freaking Raquel Gonzalez the other day. That they messed that up. But anyways, yeah, man. I think that Callum and Jeff work well together. To Sonal's point, if they do keep Naito and Hiromu together for a longer period of time, it would mostly benefit Naito. It would save his knees. Hiromu can carry most of the stuff. He doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. Naito, that is, and yeah, man, it was a good, solid, decent match. Good showing for everybody around. Good decision for the title change at this point. And you guys mentioned Akira, him being a favorite going into the Best of Super Juniors. Why wouldn't he be at this point? You know what I'm saying? He's got to shine, and without TJP being around, you know, he's got to be there. He's got to be the junior to shine because JAY is still a young lion. So it is what it is in that regard. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we got two more matches to discuss, but we got to let go of Sonal. She's got an early work day tomorrow. Sonal, let's give you the spotlight. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they can see your coverage of New Japan Pro Wrestling on your channel.
Yeah, so you can always follow me on social media at wrestling_chat. I'm low-key sad that I have to miss the next match because if you go on my social media, you will see me extensively explain the lore of Yota and Shota Tsuji. So make sure to check that out. But obviously, you can subscribe to me on Sonal's Life on YouTube. Yesterday, I put out my own Sakura Genesis video. And if you subscribe, I basically, 99% of the time, I'll try and get a video of big shows out on the day. So yeah, make sure to hit subscribe. And also, you can figure out when I'm going to be here on True Heel Heat next.
There you go. Always love having you on here, Sonal. So we will see you next time. We got some Windy City Riot coming up, so I'll be hitting you up for that, for the preview and review for that. So hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, Sonal.
Bye. But yes, she gave you the preview of the next matchup. The semi-main event on this card was for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. It was Yota Tsuji defending against House of Torture's leader, Evil. As soon as Tsuji is making his entrance, I literally tweeted out, I was like, that's not Yota. I was like, as soon as he did the close-up on him and he smiles, I'm like, wait, something's different. The beard is different. His face looks slimmer. I was like, that's not Yota. So when we get Evil jumping Tsuji in the ring, and then they pull off the jacket, and he's noticeably not as muscular, and then they take off the hat, and he reveals his face. It is actually Shota Tsuji, not Yota Tsuji. Shota Tsuji is the decoy. His twin brother, Yota Tsuji's twin brother, is here once again. I said Tsuji pulling off the Eric Angle, Kurt Angle switcheroo. Nevertheless, Evil was when Yota Tsuji comes in, he has an early advantage, popping the crowd for a bit. Evil does capitalize though as he works over the knees of the champion like he's been doing on the Road 2 shows, employing the Nagata lock. Evil laughed as Tsuji wrenched in pain, tortured, if you will. Eventually, he gets to the ropes. In the background, we see Dick Togo has continued his assault from earlier on Shota Tsuji in defiance of his hurt knees, though. And Tsuji did a great job selling the knee damage throughout this matchup, limping around at various points. He hits a Hurricane Rana, though, and sends Evil into the barricade. Dick Togo attempted to halt it, a hobbling Tsuji, but he remained undeterred. Aiming for a high-flying maneuver, though, Tsuji's knee gave out. Evil exploited this by slamming him onto the mat. Tsuji made a weak crawl to the ropes as Evil locked on the Darkness Scorpion. Tsuji unleashed a backbreaker and stomp combination to regain control, but at the cost of more knee damage in the process, nearly maximizing on the moment of a prone Evil. Tsuji was distracted by Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who dragged his twin brother to the ring. Evil abused this opportunity as House of Torture took out the referee. They started attacking both Tsujis in the middle of the ring, Dick Togo, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, until Shingo Takagi came out to make the save for his LIJ stablemate, emptying the House of Torture. Loved how Shingo came out and the crowd exploded. The crowd really got into this closing stretch when Shingo came out here. He was low blowed by Evil, but Evil was then low blowed by Yota Tsuji, tossing referee Marty Asami into the ring. Evil countered Tsuji's Gene Blaster with the Magic Killer, then took out Marty Asami once again by flipping him in the process. Kanemaru, first we get Dick Togo coming into the ring with the powder. He misses Tsuji and gets Evil in the eyes, but then Yoshinobu Kanemaru, after Dick Togo is taken out, he comes in with the whiskey, the Sapporo surprise, but that spat into Evil when Tsuji ducks that. Shingo comes back in, he takes care of Yoshinobu Kanemaru, hitting him with the pumping bomber. Evil is reeling after the whiskey spit. It leads to Tsuji following up with the double jump foot stomp from the top rope. Then he follows up with the Gene Blaster, the second of the matchup. 1, 2, 3. Tsuji retains the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. I swear, Evil annoys me because he doesn't need all this interference. He's actually a good wrestler when he puts in the time and he has good matches, but I can't front between this match and the Tanahashi match. The House of Torture interference sometimes makes these crowds even more into these matches, especially when the House of Torture interference is thwarted like it was here. They explode for the closing stretches of this matchup, and I did pop when Evil got the powder and then the whiskey to the eyes. So it got me as well. I liked the closing stretch of this matchup, really saved like the slower parts in the early going. So I gave this match 3.5 stars. Post-match, though, we get Tsuji. He calls out Yuya Uemura, and he is surprised to turn around, and Uemura is already on the ring apron. He knew that Tsuji was going to call him out, or he knew he wanted to come out here to challenge Tsuji. He brings up their past from their match, coming up in the Young Lions, and been coming up in the New Japan dojo together. And of course, last year in the G1, him suffering that arm injury, the bicep injury against Tsuji that kept him out for months, and he wants a redo. He wants a matchup. He beat Tsuji in the G1 climax, and he wants a shot at Tsuji's gold, the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. So we're going to get Tsuji versus Uemura, and I cannot wait. I think that they're going to make us forget about their mid hair versus hair matchup from last year. They're going to really turn out in this one. They've grown over the last year superbly, the both of them. So I expect big things, but really enjoyed this matchup a lot more than I originally thought I would. What did you think about the matchup, J News, and the challenge by Uemura?
Oh, man. Yet again, man, we stand in opposition. I thought this match was severely overbooked at certain points.
Hey, the crowd, it got the crowd, and
I get it. Like, bro, I get it. Like, the crowd was hot. They dig it. It is what it is. It just wasn't for me last night when I was watching it. I was like, what are we doing with all this goddamn interferences? To your point, dude, like, Evil's actually a good wrestler. Like, there's no need for all this shit. I popped when I saw Shota Tsuji. I popped because I remember watching, there's a series on Apple TV Plus called Monarch. It's based on Godzilla lore at the end of the day. Shota Tsuji played a bartender in that movie, in that series, should I say. And so I was like, you know what, man? This dude is everywhere. He's a stunt performer. He's an actor, stuff like that. Yota Tsuji's brother, that is. And for Yota Tsuji, for Big Suge to bring out his brother again, because this is not the first time he's done it. He's done it before. To bring him out again in this match to lure in the House of Torture was genius. He does study the tape So he goes in there with a game plan. He doesn't go in there, all balls to the wall and stuff like that. So I can appreciate that about Yota Tsuji. Yeah, man, the Mr. Fuji spot, as I like to call it, right? With the powder. I think the first time I ever saw it was like in the late 80s and stuff like that, or whatever the case is. And I was like, who is this man throwing this salt in people's faces? And I was like, but now, seeing it yet again, it is a common wrestling trope to use as distraction. So it was interesting to see that, and then the Satori special, as per the usual in this match, where Evil was just getting caught off guard with everything. So I appreciated that from the match. Part of the overbooking, as I stated before. I appreciate that someone from LIJ showed up for Tsuji, and that being the one and only Shingo Takagi, trying to even out the odds as much as he could during the match as well. But man, it was just too much for me after a while. I was like, all right, man, let's wrap this up, B. Let's wrap this up. But to the point you were making, can't wait to see the one-on-one matchup between Yua Uemura and Yota Tsuji a year later now, with a bit more evolution in both of their characters and both of their in-ring abilities and stuff like that. And now that Tsuji is a champion, to see as to how much more serious, how much more crisp within his technique Uemura is going to be in their next matchup, and hopefully Yota Tsuji does for Uemura what he's been able to do for other people and raise his stock in that next match. So yeah, man, looking forward to that whenever that is. It could be Dontaku, I would imagine. Yeah, it was a clusterfuck of a match, but it is what it is in that estimation,
I enjoyed the cluster. Give me more clusterfuck. So Evil's had 2 good matches this year. That's more than Charlotte Flair. We got Big Man Dogs.
The Heat.
We got Big Man Dogs who says, I know I'm a House of Torture glazer, but Tsuji's House of Torture matches are always get super heated. It does. And it gets you into the matchup more. That's what he got for me.
They do. I just wonder what's going to happen here. Will there be a House of Torture civil war coming towards us sometime soon? We don't necessarily know. I think there's going to be a buy for leadership at the House of Torture, man. I can't see Sonata playing second fiddle to Evil. I just can't see it. I can't see it, man. Can't see it.
We'll see. But, hey. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But next up was the main event, J News. Hirooki Goto defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against the winner of the New Japan Cup tournament, David Finlay. They locked up early. Goto gained an advantage, putting Finlay in a hold, broken up by the bottom rope. Once Finlay could lay Goto to the mat, he struck with some punches and some forearms, showing off his dominance. He controlled things for a few minutes there until Goto was able to pull out a lariat at the last minute. Finlay came back. He hits a wild-looking cactus clothesline over the top rope, tumbling down really hard onto the floor. Both Goto and Finlay here, right in front of Goto's kids. Goto unfairly had too many people in his corner. I just want to put that out there. Bullet Club War Dogs stayed in the back. He only had Gato in his corner. Goto had Yoshihashi and his kids in the front row. Too many people in his corner. I'm just saying, a little bit of cheating. Goto's foot struck Finlay in the grind in the process after the cactus clothesline as well. A low blow as well. Further cheating. Finlay was able to recover. He grabbed a table, set it up at the ringside area. From beyond the barricade under the ring, seeking a power bomb through the tables. Finlay instead tumbled backwards as a result of a frantic Goto punching his skull. Goto sent his challenger headfirst into the ring post by way of a Hurricane Rana. Finlay would be able to come back by tossing Goto into the ring post himself. Finlay deployed a grim-looking backbreaker, crushing the spine of Goto, getting control once again, working over the back, denying Finlay the opportunity to send him through a table. Goto instead slammed him through. He hits a Ushigoroshi through the freaking table, and man, it was two tables set up, and I think he only went through one of them and cracked like side of the other one. That I don't know if Finlay ever recovered from the table spot. Once again, Goto cheating. I'm just putting that out there as well. We would get them fighting on the top rope. It looked like Finlay was gonna hit a superplex, but Goto was able to fight back. He hits a code red off the middle rope, getting the control once again, but Finlay was able to kick out. Finlay went for the overkill, but he was only able to hit the into oblivion, gets a near fall. He busts out a gun stun at another point. Huge ovation from the Ryogoku crowd for that one, as he does the bust on. I was like, yes, let's go. Finlay transition, he hits into oblivion, but Goto's able to kick out once again. We get the Shontan. He hits the GTW for a near fall. Finlay comes back with a buckle bomb and then a big power bomb for a near fall of his own. We get Finlay going for the overkill after the into oblivion, but Goto's able to reverse that into Shoten Kai for a great near fall. This Ryogoku crowd is electric at this point for the final stretch of this matchup. Goto picks up Finlay. He hits one GTR. He hits a second GTR. He then puts the arm over his throat. Puts the arm behind him for the hammerlock GTR. I love commentary saying he hit 3 GTRs, one for his son, one for his daughter, and then the last one was for himself. 1, 2, 3. Hirooki Goto retains the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in an absolutely outstanding main event. This Ryogoku crowd were living and dying on every near fall, on every big move. They reacted big for everything. The Shoten Kai, the gun stun, the gold red off the top rope, the freaking Ushigoroshi through the table. This had everything that makes a great New Japan Pro Wrestling main event, an epic main event, and it didn't need the epic long time, 40 minutes for Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr. No, they did this all in just over 24 minutes, and it was absolutely superb. Hirooki Goto retaining the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I gave this match 4 3/4 stars. This was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic stuff. This was my match of the week yesterday on the flagship podcast, and it still holds up. Goto post-match, he celebrates his win, thanking his children and the world for fighting alongside him, saying that whatever they do, whether it be in school, whether it be out in this world, never let the bullies keep you down and you can overcome it, announcing that he knew who he wanted to be his next challenger, as he will defend the title this coming Friday at NJPW Windy City Riot. He calls out Shota Umino. And boy, oh boy, did Ryogoku hate to see Shota Umino once again. They boo him out the building, a fully dressed yet emotionless Umino obliged an appearance, nearly entering the ring, leaving after hearing the boos, and then re-entering again. He accepted the champion's challenge for Windy City Riot on April 11th, so it is official. It will be Goto versus Shooter for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship this coming Friday. Meanwhile, David Finlay backstage with the War Dogs issued the challenge to Evil and the House of Torture for a dog pound steel cage matchup, trying to finally settle this score with the House of Torture in their basically the War Dogs signature match after the destruction that they did last year at New Beginning. So I expect that one to be an absolute war as well. But what did you think about Goto versus Finlay? Like I said, I give it 4 3/4 stars. The post-match with both men setting up new matches for the future. J News.
I thought that the match itself did exactly what it was supposed to do. It kept the crowd on the side of Goto. It kept David Finlay as a strong heel in the company and whatnot. The in ring action was great. The call back to the freaking the code red from the top rope that freaking Goto hasn't done since his freaking junior days. Stuff like that was cool to see. David Finlay always puts it on the line, man. And like I said, I've never taken anything away from him as an in-ring performer. He's top flight when it comes to that. But like, yeah, man, I just knew that the revolution was going to continue, brother. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no momentum. He won a New Japan Cup. So what? At the end of the day, so what? The Goto Revolution is so live right now in Japan that you can't go up against the grain. You can't throw rocks against the current right now, man. You got to go with it at the moment. And so we're gonna continue on with this goddamn revolution. Goto's gonna win on Friday against Shooter Umino because goddamn it, they're not gonna put a. Let's be real, New Japan's not gonna put a big angle on New Japan US TV, so they're not gonna do that there. So let's be real, man. Let's be real. They're not gonna do that at Windy City Riot and stuff like that. So Goto for the win there, and yeah, man, it's gonna be something different. And we'll see how it all breaks down. The dog pound steel cage match or whatever the case is. The reason that's why I even brought up the fact that I feel like Connors is leaving or somebody's leaving or whatever, because it happened last time, and I don't think it was by design necessarily, because Will was on his way out or whatever the case is, and I wasn't even aware until the news came down that Alex Coughlin was going to retire and stuff like that. And then obviously, Hanare got hurt, and so he spent mad months out and stuff like that. So guys are going to be spending some time away after this match is said and done, regardless of the fact. I think it's just going to be that it's going to be that sort of a match. And my hope is, that something positive comes out of this match, and if not, it'll be the dismantling of a group. But we'll see how it all breaks down. So, the match itself, the one-on-one match, the main event here at Sakura Genesis did the job. And, we continue on with the Goto Revolution, baby. We continue on. And that's the way it should be right now. Right now, that's the way it should be. Until this Goto train loses steam, you keep the belt on him. You keep those crowds red hot. You keep these arenas packed. And you keep riding that hot hand, man. That's all I gotta say.
We got another super chat donation from Genesis J, who says, "Thank you, Genesis J, for the support." He says, "The Chihuahua, your savior?" ? Rolling on the floor, rolling floor laughter or whatever. I don't care. Laughing emoji saying, "We stand Goto."
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's what it is right now. We're on this Goto train. We're on the Goto hype train. We're gonna keep riding this Goto hype train all the way until the wheels fall off, man. And when the wheels fall off, we're gonna be sad. You know what I'm saying? When he loses that belt, we're gonna be sad. But we'll all understand that New Japan's got to move forward. But right now, we're living in the Goto era. This is the era of the Goto Revolution. And I am here for it.
Well, enjoy all of that. I'm sure you'll have a good time with that. But this was the best match on the show. I will say that. Spoiler alert. But let us know what you thought was the best match at Sakura Genesis. Let us know your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP, whether you gave this show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give Sakura Genesis? For me, NJ News. For NJPW Sakura Genesis 2025 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Out of 10, I'm going to give this one a 8 out of 10. This was a very good show from New Japan Pro Wrestling, capped off by an outstanding main event that the Ryogoku Sumo Hall crowd was just on fire for the closing stretch of that one. You had Takeshita and Oiwa delivered. I thought a lot of matches overachieved on this card, like ELP and Okan and Tsuji and Evil. The United Empire versus Los Ingonables de Japón, I thought that overachieved as well. So some really good matches, but two great matches as well. So got to give it an 8 out of 10. J News.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I think that the show was really good. 8 out of 10 for me as well. The main event definitely showed out. The tag match had no business being as good as it was. That being Naito and Hiromu versus the guys from the United Empire. So that surprised me a bit. The outcome surprised me as well. So that was a positive in my eyes. And also obviously Takeshita versus Ryohei Oiwa was good, man. And you know, for all intents and purposes, man, the opener, man, with Uemura and Sonata, they did the work, man, to open up the show, and they opened up the show in a good way, and they got the fans warmed up. So I gotta give it to them there as well. Can't give it to that Evil match because, god damn it, man, they just overbooked the shit out of that match.
It was fun. I loved it. But who was your MVP for the show, J News?
MVP for the show. I'm gonna go with Goto. Sorry, Revolutionary Goto. The Goto Revolution continues. Goto is the MVP until they knock his block off. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to United Empire winning all the gold on this show.
Fair enough.
LVP for the show, no, it's not Nepo. David Finlay delivered the boss dog. He delivered a great matchup on this show. So how dare you? I'm gonna give it to Sonata.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sonata is the LVP. He deserves all the LVPs in the world. There is nothing but disappointment on this planet because of Sonata. He is the major reason behind disappointment and sadness on this planet right now is Sonata. And so, yeah, all the LVPs to Sonata right now.
And match of the night, Goto versus Finlay.
Main event. Indeed.
We got Genesis J says, I'll be working when you guys do the Dynasty review, but I'll try to donate my thoughts early like I do before. Great gang. Excited for tonight. I am as well. I'll be watching that. If you are a Fightful Select subscriber, I'll be with Alex Pulowski following tonight's Dynasty. So you could join us over there for a review over there early, but we'll be here 12:05 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow for our AEW Dynasty review. So join us for that as well. Call me Mr. Bonda says LVP, Evil always, MVP Jeff Cobb, and match of the night Finlay versus Goto. So we're seeming on the same page on a lot of stuff here. J News, thank you as always for joining me for these New Japan Pro Wrestling coverage. I'll give you the floor. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media when they shall see you again.
All right, folks. As a matter of fact, you'll see me again on True Heel Heat tomorrow afternoon. I believe it's 12:05 Eastern Standard Time for the AEW Dynasty review. So you'll see me then. You'll also see me sometime, probably middle of the week, to preview Windy City Riot New Japan Pro Wrestling USA show coming up on Friday. So we will probably do our review sometime between Wednesday and Thursday. So that'll be up for you guys to check out there. And I will be back at my usual time with my podcast with the lovely Dolores next week on the Hit the Ropes podcast every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, today I missed it due to work obligations and things of that nature. So I'll be back next week. And you can catch me on the Twitter machine at John LYFNMG, your friendly neighborhood moviegoer. And man, that's all I got.
Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSB3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat. Patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best way to support us when we are not live here. I was also live earlier today at 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time with our Daredevil Born Again Season 1 Episode 7 review. So go over to True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. Go over and subscribe over there because we got plenty of content content for you to enjoy. We talked about the most polarizing episode of Daredevil Born Again so far, so go over and check that out. Join us live here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight for our AEW Dynasty watch party. In between, before the show starts, the pre-show is going to start in about less than an hour and a half. You can join us for the AEW Dynasty preview that me, Jay News, and Maggie did on Friday. Go over and check that out before the big show starts, and check out the flagship podcast, True Hill Heat 323, with myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and Josh, talking about a wild week in pro wrestling with Kevin Owens out for WrestleMania, and of course, we broke down the Charlotte and Tiffy train wreck. But me and Jay News, like he said, we'll be back 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, so join us for that. In the meantime, between time, we appreciate y'all for all the support, and always appreciate y'all for helping us hit those goals with the super chats. But for Sonal, for Jay News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our NJPW Sakura Genesis 2025 review. We are signing off until next time.